Hi everyone, it's Maya from WholesomeYum.com, and today I'm showing you how to make keto pecan pie. This is one of my favorite low-carb Thanksgiving desserts, you guys. And I've been making this for years, but I used to use a different sweetener, and the texture just wasn't quite right. The flavor was good, but it was a little stiff. It didn't have that gooey, caramely quality that a pecan pie should have. Now, here's what I use instead. Besti powdered sweetener. I love this stuff, you guys. It tastes just like sugar, but the best part is that it browns and caramelizes just like sugar does. So the texture of the pecan pie turns out just the way you want it. A little gooey, nice and caramelized, perfectly smooth, no grit. You guys are gonna love this. We're using my almond flour pie crust here. I love this for pies. It's my favorite because it's buttery and it tastes a little bit like shortbread. I used Wholesome Yum almond flour for my almond flour pie crust and all my almond flour recipes because it has this really fine consistency and it's blanched. You can see there's no skins in there. So this is gonna give us a really nice texture in baked goods, including this crust. But if you don't like almond flour for some reason and you'd rather use coconut flour, I'll link my coconut flour pie crust recipe down below. That will work just as well here. We're also going to be using Besti sweetener in the pie crust as well. That's just gonna give it a little bit of sweetness, not too much. If you don't wanna get too big, you can use the powdered variety there as well. I like to use the granulated one for the crust because the texture is a little bit better with that. You can get all these products on Amazon or on my website. I'll link those down below for you so you know exactly where to get them. And if you want more keto holiday recipes, be sure you subscribe. I'll be posting more of them in the next few weeks. But for now, we're making low-carb pecan pie. Let's do this. First, we're going to get a 9-inch pie pan and we're going to line the bottom of it with parchment paper. This is going to ensure that our crust is not going to stick. You can try greasing instead, but I like this method better. So we're gonna fold this into fourths and then you're gonna arrange the corner in the center and then cut around the edge. So basically you have a quarter circle. And then you can just unfold that, flip over the pan, and it's gonna fit right in. If it turns out too big, you can just adjust it, cut it a little bit around the edge, super easy. And so now I'm going to grease the sides of the pan with butter. You can grease with anything you like. If you have an avocado oil spray, that will work as well. Just make sure it's something super neutral and make sure you grease really well because the crust does tend to stick. And now we're going to make that almond flour pie crust for our keto pecan pie. So we're going to start with 2.5 cups of Wholesome Yum blanched almond flour, a 1/4 cup of Besti sweetener. You'll need about a tablespoon more than that if you're using a less sweet sweetener like erythritol, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, and those are our dry ingredients and we're gonna whisk that all together. Like my other baking recipes, I like to use a whisk so that I can get rid of all the lumps in the dry ingredients. And now we're going to melt a 1/4 cup of butter. That's 4 tablespoons. If you like, you can also use coconut oil or ghee here, totally up to you. And then we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract directly to the melted butter. This is going to help it mix more easily. If you add it to the dry ingredients, it's gonna kind of stick in a clump. Nobody wants that. So I'll add that here. I like to use this little whisk to stir that together. And then I'm going to add that to my almond flour mixture. And then we'll crack just 1 large egg in there as well. This crust recipe actually allows for not using eggs at all. If you want, you can add 2 additional tablespoons of melted butter instead. But for a keto pecan pie, there's egg in the filling anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You're gonna mix with a spatula, or you can just use your hands if you like, and just keep mixing until it's completely uniform. It might be a little sticky and a little dry at first, but if you keep mixing, it should form into a nice ball, just like this. Okay, now it's time to press our crust into the pie pan. So I just kind of make a little disc like this and then I press it, and here's how I do the edges. So I use 2 fingers and then use a 3rd finger to kind of pinch. It's a little hard to explain, but you can see how I'm doing it in the video. Just keep going all the way around until you're done and then poke holes all over the bottom with a fork. This is going to prevent bubbling. And we're going to bake that in the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes or so. While your sugar-free pecan pie crust is baking, we're going to make the filling. You're going to need a really large pan, otherwise the filling is going to just take forever. So trust me, use the largest pan you got. So you're gonna add 3/4 cups of butter to the pan and 3/4 cup of Besti powdered monk fruit allulose blend. If you don't have that on hand, you can also use the crystallized version, that's the pink one. Both of those will work. Because Besti dissolves so easily, it doesn't really matter if it's powdered or not. If you're using another sweetener, it's really important for it to be powdered, otherwise your filling is gonna be gritty. So you're just gonna keep heating this over low heat until it melts completely and browns, and it's gonna start to sizzle a little bit, just like this. Once it's this golden color, that's how you know you're ready to move on to the next step, and we're going to add 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Be careful, it does tend to sizzle a little bit here, but it'll calm down once it kind of starts simmering. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of sea salt here as well, and this is going to simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. This is where the size of your pan is really important. The larger your pan, the faster this is going to go. And if you need a dairy-free version of this, you can also use full-fat coconut milk from a can instead of the heavy cream as well. You're gonna keep cooking this until it's nice and thick, and essentially we're making a caramel sauce here. Once your sauce has thickened really well, we're going to add 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla extract and 3/4 teaspoon of maple extract. This is going to give your keto pecan pie plenty of flavor. It's gonna taste just like the real thing. Now, set aside the caramel sauce and let it cool for 15 to 20 minutes until it's warm but no longer hot. Your pie crust should be cooling at the same time as well. Once your sauce is cooled, you can whisk an egg in a little bowl. Again, I like to use this cute little whisk, and whisking the egg is just going to help the egg mix into the caramel sauce better. So we're gonna pour that in, and then we can stir it together until it's nice and smooth and glossy. Don't worry if it's a little chunky at first, it should come together nicely if you just keep stirring. Now our pie crust is ready, so we're going to go ahead and fill that with chopped pecans. You'll need 2 cups of chopped pecans for the filling, spread them out evenly, and then we're going to pour that sugar-free caramel sauce over the pecans to make our keto pecan pie filling. Now, you can leave the top of this pecan pie as is, but I think pecan halves on top just look so beautiful, and these are a must. So I like to start from the center and just kind of work in a spiral pattern just like this. You can really arrange them however you like. Feel free to get creative. If you have some ideas for this, let me know below. But once you are done, you're going to need to cover the edges of the pie with foil or a silicone pie shield because our pie crust is already baked, so we don't want it to get too dark. So I'm going to fold this piece of foil into fourths. This is the same process I used for lining the bottom of the pie pan earlier, and I'm going to cut out this quarter circle in the center. And then once I unfold this, there's going to be a hole in the middle, and the foil is going to be perfect for covering the edges of the pie. So I'm just gonna seal it all around the edge, try to make sure that the filling is mostly open and visible, but the crust is going to need to be covered. Bake the pie for 30 to 35 minutes until the top is dark brown and the filling is bubbly, thick, and almost set. It should no longer jiggle, but it is normal for it to look a little wet, so let it cool completely to set and then chill for at least an hour before slicing. We don't need this foil anymore. My sugar-free pecan pie is ready. You can serve this cold from the fridge after you chill it if you like, but I prefer to let it come to room temperature first. I'm so excited to cut into this. Make sure you cut all the way through the crust so that it doesn't break apart when you take out a slice. And the serving is about 1/12 of the pie. It's very filling, so it's not very big, but it will be more than enough. Of course, you can cut this into larger pieces if you like. I'm gonna go through one more time just to be sure. I'm always nervous taking out the first piece. The first one is always a little finicky, but we'll do our best here. Be careful, remember there's parchment paper underneath as well. Yes, look at that. Transfer that to a plate. This is going to be delicious. Okay, let's try this. Wow, that was so good. So sweet and caramely and lots of pecans in there. The crust is buttery, just perfect. I'll be making more low-carb holiday recipes soon, so if there's a dish you miss on keto, let me know and I'll make a video of a low-carb version. Otherwise, I hope you're gonna make this keto pecan pie soon. It is delicious, a must for the holidays. If you make it, be sure to snap a photo, post it with #WholesomeYum so that I can see it. And leave me a comment too. I love hearing from you, love hearing what you think. See you next time on Wholesome Yum, where I share easy, healthy, and keto recipes, all with 10 ingredients or less.